Hello, hello. Welcome to Papa John's Pantry. Remember to like us on Facebook and follow me on YouTube. Questions or comments, papajohnspantry@gmail.com. Going to be making chicken parm. First thing I am going to do is we're going to marinate these breasts for about, really only needs to be about an hour. Okay, so I'm going to be using two of these. These are very large chicken breasts. I'm going to end up filleting them in half. But we're going to just cover these with, give me 1 second. I'm using a red wine vinaigrette dressing. Because it's sweet. And I'm going to use the whole container. I want this to get in there good. I'm just going to let those hang out. If you want, you can put them in the fridge. But they need to thaw out a little bit. They're still got a little, I don't know if you can tell on the camera or not, but those two breasts have just a couple ice crystals left on them. So they need to finish thawing anyway. Alright, I will catch you when it's time to start preparing and cooking and all that fun stuff. Catch you then. Alrighty, welcome back, peoples. This has been marinating for 2.5 hours. It's time to make dinner. Alright, so I got some things kind of pre-done. Got a new camera, so be patient. Well, a new phone, because I'm an idiot. So don't mind that. So I have 1 cup of flour in a bowl, 5 eggs scrambled, 3 cups of Italian breadcrumbs. So we're going to be breading with that. And then the 2 breasts are over here. We're going to be pan frying these in a Tuscan herb. Well, I'm using a Tuscan herb olive oil, but you can use a vegetable oil or a flavored olive oil, whatever kind of oil you want to use. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the pan. I'm using my big skillet over here, so I can fry these up. God damn it! Always making a mess. Don't mind me. All right, so I'm frying this up in the big pan, just so I can do them all at the same time in the oven. So this is how big is this? I don't even know. That would be about 2 cups of oil, just enough for just about a centimeter of oil in the bottom of your whatever pan you're using to pan fry these up. You might need to slowly add oil as you go, depending on how much the chicken sucks up the oil, which is why I like using an olive oil, because of the chicken kind of acts like a sponge, and if it sucks up the olive oil, it's delicious. So I'm gonna get this going. My old stove had the knobs are in a different place, and we had it for damn near 10 years, so I have to unlearn that at some point before I die. So, alright, we're going to be going back over here. And now what we're doing with the chicken and the eggs and all that fun stuff, this is probably one of the food safety wise, it's a good way to get people sick. So, the salad dressing, the breadcrumbs, the eggs, the flour, whatever we don't use for this is just going to get thrown out. Can't reuse it for anything. So yeah, this is a little wasteful, but it's all part of the thing. I'm going to grab a plate to put these breasts on after I bread them. And so I'm going to take my trusty chef's knife, steel it up, sharpen it up just a smidge. Alright, so everything's good. So sometimes you gotta separate these just a little bit. Am I good on? Yeah, I'm gonna. Alright. I'm gonna try to cut these as much as equidistant as possible. Really want to try to never cut towards yourself, but sometimes you kind of have to. And if you're grossed out by touching raw meat, you can always wear a glove and that kind of thing. the breading, you're going to end up making your own. If you don't wear a glove, you're going to end up making your own glove out of breading. It sticks so bad. All right, so I'm going to take this and just get it off camera. We will know the oil is warm enough when we're going to just take a little bit of the breading out of the thing here, put it in your pan. And I know that's too small to see probably on the camera, but once you start to see that dancing around, the breadcrumbs, it's warm enough to put the chicken in. You don't want to put the chicken in cold oil because then it'll just your breading won't be crispy, and it'll just the chicken will just soak up the grease real bad. We're going to turn the oven on too. We're going to get that warmed up to 450. Because we're going to take these, pan fry them. We're going to bake them. I'm going to get some water going to cook some spaghetti. Then we're going to cover everything in cheese. Put it in a big lasagna pan. And then we're going to have like spaghetti parm and chicken parm all served up. And I'm going to be serving this up with some wedge salads. There's a separate video on those. Alright, so I'm going to turn you off for just a minute. I'm going to get some water going for spaghetti. That's really not part of this video. It's just something else I'm going to get going. Alright, so once this is heated up, we're going to get breaded. And we'll get pan frying. Catch you in a minute. Alright, now as you can see, these breasts are pretty consistently thick throughout. If not, you take a, it all depends on how you buy them. You take each one, you plastic wrap, and pound them out with a meat hammer. Or you can even just use your fist to make them, you want to try to get them as evenly thick as possible so that they cook evenly. That's the whole point of that, because you don't want to, if you cut one of these open to see if it's done, or, if you're using a meat thermometer, you'd always check the thickest piece, but you don't want to, have one done and the one next to it not. So we're going to start breading. And breading's not my favorite thing in the world because it makes such a mess, but it is what it is, and you got to do it. Let me just get the... All right. Someday I'll get a real camera. So you dredge them through the flour, then in the eggs. Try to make sure it's all covered with eggs, because then this is how the breadcrumbs stick. Breadcrumbs. And boom. Alright, you're going to do that for each one. And you're going to get sticky fingers. That's why I said if you wanted to wear a glove, by all means. I know some people absolutely hate the feel of raw meat. Not me. I think the only thing that really I hate touching is styrofoam. Styrofoam makes my teeth hurt. It's like the styrofoam just on itself, the noise of that. I could listen to nails on a chalkboard all day, but fucking styrofoam, bleh. Don't like it. Alright, so we're gonna, so this one's got some cracks, not cracks, but just fill up the crevices with some breading. Now, if you wanted, you could put like if you had a cup of flour, you could put like a teaspoon of like adobo or salt and pepper in here if you wanted, just to season this up a little bit more. But that's why I like using the Italian breadcrumbs, because they got Italian seasoning mixed in with them. Plus, the star of this is going to be the tomato sauce and the melted cheese on top anyway. So, I mean, none of this is hard. It just takes a few minutes to get everything all set up and prep. That's why I did it ahead of time. You guys don't need to watch me put flour and eggs and stuff in a bowl and scramble them up. Nothing too... Again, I used a cup of flour, 5 eggs, 3 cups of breading. Probably could use 2 cups of breading, but I don't want to be having to get more out and with my stupid chicken hands and all the other fun stuff. Alright, so let me just rinse my hand off and we'll get on the stove. All right, and people have a tendency to want to flip and flip and flip and flip and flip. Once I put these in the grease here, we're just gonna let them sit about 5 minutes on each side. The pan fry them, and they're gonna be just about all the way cooked once before they even go in the oven. All right, so I'm just gonna use tongs. I like these ones because they got the plastic on the end. They're a little more gentle than just your normal ones like these. And truth be told, these are from the dollar store. Nothing special. So I am going to carefully place these in the oil. Will I be able to fit all? And if you can't fit them all in your pan at the same time, no big deal. But just cook them for the same amount of time on each side if you have to do them like 2 at a time or 1 at a time if you only have a small pan. Alright, literally going to let this sit 5 minutes. You're not going to be missing out on nothing. I'm going to get my counter cleaned up, get rid of the eggs and stuff, dump the flour in the garbage, breadcrumbs in the garbage. I will catch you in 5 when it's time to flip these. And then another 5. Then it'll be time to sauce them up and cheese them and stuff and get them in the oven. I'll catch you in 5 minutes. Alrighty, we are about 3.5 minutes into this, and no secrets. Just let them go another 1.5 minutes. We'll flip them on at 5, and we'll see how the chicken will be a different color. It'll start to be white instead of pink, and we'll know if we have to cook them on the other side longer, because I want these to be pretty much done. Pretty much cooked all the way through out of the pan. But we'll see how they are once we flip them here in a minute. Catch you then. Alright, it's been 5. It's time to flip these. You know what? I'm going to make the spaghetti part of the video. Just because usually I always serve these with spaghetti for the most part. So that's what I'm going to do. So these are pretty much cooked halfway through. I'm going to let these ones sit on this side 7 minutes. Now that doesn't really matter because you can... you want them really as crispy as possible before they go in the oven. Some of the breading comes off. It's all part of the game. We're going to cover them in sauce. And gonna let these ones hang out just because they're kind of big for 7 minutes. You won't overcook them in the pan. And then before we serve them, we're going to check them in the oven anyway. So we're kind of cooking them twice. So I will catch you in 7 minutes. Alright, and that's all we're going to do. We're just letting them hang out. Catch you then. Because I'm an idiot, I never remember anything. So I'm using a pre-sliced, like a deli mozzarella. Just because using the shredded stuff's fine, but you got to use a lot of it. And it kind of melts inconsistent, like on something like this. So like each piece will get 2 big pieces of mozzarella and it'll melt. The whole thing will be covered as opposed to the little shreds getting all stringy and stuff. So I just wanted to, we're going to be using mozzarella cheese too. I'm using sliced deli style. Well, alrighty, it's been 7 minutes. I am taking a lasagna pan. I'm spraying the bottom of it with Parm. No stick cooking spray. Turning these off. I'm going to real quickly just put some Parm in the bottom of this pan. For this part, if you feel more comfortable using a spatula, by all means. No, I don't want you feeling uncomfortable. Alright, I gotta get my spaghetti done, and then we'll be working on these on the countertop. I'll see you in a minute. Yeah, I'm just cooking spaghetti as you cook spaghetti per the box, alright? See you in a minute. Alright, I just realized I'm not going to have enough room in this lasagna pan for the spaghetti too, so I'm going to do the spaghetti on a cookie sheet. Just the same exact way we're doing this chicken. But I'll show you that too. The water's just... Well, actually the water's starting to boil, so give me 1 second, folks. Alright, so I'm just using the regular standard jar of spaghetti sauce. This is 24 ounces. We are just going to put, use your favorite sauce. If you want to make your own, make your own. We'll be doing sauces eventually someday. Just going to lightly, I don't know, this is probably about 1/4 of a cup on each one, if even that much. It really depends on the size of the chicken breast you're on. For some people, these would be huge. For other people, you cut them in half and you'd be feeding you could be feeding a bunch of people with these. So it all depends. Now we're going to take the rest of that sauce, we're going to be doing the same thing with the spaghetti. We're going to make little nests on the cookie sheet of spaghetti, cover them in sauce, cover them in cheese, get the old spatula out, and don't be surprised if you want to, like this cheese, try to keep the cheese off the pan just so it doesn't burn. And this is why I like using the slices better than the shredded, just because it already looks good with. Just the only thing is these shredded's usually more, well, not more cheaper. Yeah, it's less expensive than the deli cut cheese. So that's one advantage. You got to do what your budget allows for. So if you have shredded, just cover these up with as much shredded cheese as possible. You got to do you. Whole point of this channel is for you not to go broke. Bring the restaurant to your house. All right, so that's that. I'm going to save this for the spaghetti. So that's that part. Spaghetti's boiling. It'll be a few minutes before this is done. We're going to do the same thing on the cookie sheet, and we're going to go in the oven for about 15 minutes at 400. Okay, I'll catch you in a few minutes once the noodles are done. Alrighty, I don't know where the magic spot. Well, I don't ever think right. Sorry. I'm just thinking out loud. Alright, I'm switching this out with the. Alright, so that's the chicken. We're going to do the same thing. Spray cookie sheet. So you can use a cookie sheet instead of a lasagna pan for this stuff. I was hoping I was going to be able to do everything in the same pan, but it's just too much. Now you might be able to do it all in the same pan. It depends on how much food you're cooking. I'm just kind of showing you a roadmap here, and you go with it. So now there's 4 of us. I'm going to make 4 little piles. Now the spaghetti is a little harder than you'd want to eat it because we're baking it with the sauce on top and the cheese. So it's going to finish up in the oven. So don't make this mushy. All right, don't even cook it all the way done. You want this to be a little firm. Still, a little bit like this has like 2 more minutes to go. All right, because you don't want to. Not this will mush up super bad in the oven, but it'll mush up a little bit, and you don't want overcooked. You don't want overcooked school cafeteria spaghetti. All right, so now I'm going to take the rest of the sauce, not the rest of it, but we're going to make, cover it up. And if you wanted to saute up some veggies or whatever, by all means, I'm going to heat the rest of the sauce. So out of a jar, I got about a cup of sauce left, but I don't want to put too much in because it's just going to slowly soak to the bottom and then just burn to the pan. I'm going to heat it up in the saucepan on the side in case if anybody wants, in case anybody wants extra sauce. Everybody, that's a preference thing. Some people like it stuff real saucy. Other people like just a little saucy. Some people don't like sauce at all and they just butter their stuff. So just give me 1 second. So now after this, I'm going to take some parsley and just sprinkle that over the top of this so these pop once it all melts. The sauce, the sauce is pretty simple, but that's not really the star of this. The star is the chicken and the cheese. So, no sense wasting, you know, buying super expensive spaghetti sauce, because that's not going to really matter at the end of the day. But if you know you want to pan fry up some mushrooms, peppers, onions, whatnot into your sauce, by all means. So sorry, it's my first time shooting a video since I haven't really been cooking like this all that much. You watch on the interwebs, it's COVID-19 time here in town, and been not really doing these videos and stuff, or really even cooking it much, so things aren't really where I left them. So okay, so these are going in the oven, 400 degrees for 15 minutes. Okay, got a pan of spaghetti, got a pan of parm, 15 minutes. As you can see, the cheese has already started to melt over there. I'll catch you in 15. Alrighty, it's been 15. Beautiful. And your spaghetti might crisp up a little bit on the bottom of the pan. Not a big deal, that's kind of the point. So I said about not overcooking it, because it definitely cooks while it's in the thing. This is something depending on how saucy you like. You know, I got extra sauce over the rest of that jar. I heat it up in a saucepan. You know, for some people that might, holy crap, that's not hardly any sauce at all. So, by all means, use 2 jars of sauce, whatever, you know, whatever floats your boat. So, you can either, you know, get a thermometer out. You want these to be 170 degrees, or find this one's the thickest. I say this one's the thickest. You know, chicken's easy to tell if it's done or not. It'll be pink in the middle, and it is solid white. So I am going to plate these up, take a picture, and it is time to eat. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for making the channel possible.